This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So where we are? Okay. So in this basic ABAP, we are majorly left over with the three topics. One is dialogue programming, nothing but module pool programming, BDCs, and then what some part of reporting and some miscellaneous concepts in dictionary objects. Okay. Right. So today onwards, we'll start with dialogue programming, nothing but module pool programming. Okay, module pool programming. Let us understand what is this dialogue programming. One second, I need to re-log in. So what is the purpose of this dialogue programming is, it is used for what? Designing the transactions. Okay, dialogue programming is used for what? Designing the transactions or enhancing the what? Transaction. Am I clear? It is used for designing the transaction or enhancing the transaction. So observe here. The purpose of this module pool is to design custom transactions. Okay, already we know we have many standard transactions. Like for creating a customer, we use XD01. For creating a material, we use MM01. For creating a sales order, we use VA01. Understood? So those are all the standard transactions given by what? SAP. Similarly, in every project, you will have a requirement to design Z transactions, custom transactions. So at that time, we'll go for module pool. Apart from that custom transaction, in standard transactions, we have to do some enhancements. Suppose we have a transaction like MM01. This is a standard transaction given by SAP. Am I clear? This is a standard transaction given by SAP for creating the material. So in this transaction, in this initial screen, we have how many fields? 3 fields or 5 fields. So what is my customer requirement? He wants one additional field here. Understood? In this standard transaction, he wants one additional field. So what you have to do? We have to use some enhancement techniques. Okay, we have different enhancement techniques like customer exits, baddies, enhancement framework. We have to use these enhancement techniques along with this module pool, and we are going to enhance the standard transaction. So that we'll be using in what? Cross applications. Similarly, in object oriented, we are going to develop ALV reporting. In that ALV reporting also, we'll come across this particular module pool programming. Am I clear? So in real time, this dialogue programming, or we call it as module pool programming, we use it for what? Three different purposes: to design the custom transactions, or to enhance the standard transactions, or we will be using that as part of what? ALV reporting using what? Classes. So as part of this basic ABAP, core ABAP, we are going to see how to design our own custom transactions. Yeah, any questions related to this slide? Okay, right. So any questions are there? Please stop me. So let us focus on how to design this particular custom transaction. First of all, what is the meaning of a transaction? We know already. A transaction can be associated with what? One or more screens. Understood? We have to navigate between each screen, and in each screen we'll capture what? Some data. Whatever the data we capture across the screens, that data should go and sit in what? One or more tables. So this is the meaning of a transaction. Understood? To perform any business task, okay, I need to use a transaction, and that transaction might contain a number of screens. Just like if you want to create a material, okay, if you want to create a material, what you'll do, you'll go to MM01, you'll give some data in the initial screen, like let me give something Gen Mat 300. I'll give some industry sector, I'll give some material type. So in my initial screen, I entered what data for three fields. I'll press enter. I got another screen. Here I'll choose some view like basic data one. This is the second screen. I'll continue. I got the third screen. In the third screen, what is the tab highlighted? Basic data one. I'll provide some description like this is Gen Mat something 300. I'll provide some base unit of measure. Let me give something kilogram. I'll save it. So overall, I visited what? Three screens. In each of the screen, okay, we'll enter what? Some data. Okay, and when I click on save, this data will go and sit in what? One or more table. So when I save it, yeah, I got some error. So leave it. This is the error in some of the enhancements, I think. So I got some error, just leave it. Okay, so but the data will go and sit in what? Appropriate tables. So what is my requirement now here? Let us see how to work with this dialog programming. So my requirement is, yeah, I want to design a screen. Okay, in the screen, I want to provide some text and I want to provide some two push buttons. So if you take our reporting, when you execute that report, we'll get the selection screen. How do we generate the selection screen? Either by using the parameter statement or by using what select option. Parameter statement generates a selection screen to read what single input value. Select options also generates what selection screen for reading the range of values. Similarly, as part of this dialog programming, I want to design a screen which I call it as normal screen. We can develop three types of screens here: normal screen, dialog screen, and subscreen. As of now, let us focus on what normal screen. So in this normal screen, I want to provide some text and some two push buttons. Already we know how to design comments and push buttons in selection screen. This is not a selection screen, this is a dialog screen, or we call it as module pull normal screen. So overall, my screen should contain what? Three elements. One is what? Text field and two push buttons. Okay, what is the validation here? Whenever I click on the exit button, the control should come out of the dialog screen. When I click on the button say hello, it should display me what? Hello message in the information dialog box. Okay, so if you assume this as a selection screen, when you click on the selection screen push buttons, what is the event triggered? Anyone? If you assume this as a selection screen, if you click on selection screen push buttons, what is the event triggered? Anyone? Can anyone answer me?
Its selection screen output.
No,
Initialization.
no. Sai, Sai, are you speaking? Your voice is not audible for me. Yes, Vasanti. Yes, anyone else? What is the event triggered when you click on selection screen push buttons? Bhavani, anyone? I'm just trying to recollect our knowledge. Since it's a long time we have discussed selection screen. Good. What is the event triggered at selection screen? Yeah, the event triggered is at selection screen. Jyoti, at selection screen output event is triggered after at selection screen. So whenever we click on the button, the first event triggered is at selection screen. After triggering at selection screen, it triggers what? At selection screen output. But the first event triggered
Yes.
is at selection screen. Okay. Yeah. So here in module pool also, whenever we click on this button, the event triggered is PAI, process after input. You can compare this PAI event similar to what? At selection screen event. Am I clear? You can compare this PAI event, process after input event, with what? At selection screen event. So what is my requirement now? I need to design a normal screen which should contain these three elements. One is a text field, another is two push buttons. So to design a selection screen, we have the statements like parameters or select options or selection screen elements. Okay, this is the dialog screen. So to design this dialog screens, we use a tool called as Screen Painter tool. We use a tool called as what? Screen Painter tool, SC51. SC51. Am I clear? Just like we have SC37 function builder, SC41 menu painter, smart forms. Okay, similarly, we have a tool called as what? Screen Painter tool. SC51 is a transaction code for this. Okay, so if you go to SC51, let me go to SC51. It will open me what? Screen Painter tool. This is the tool we have to use to design what? Dialog screens. So here, if you take our selection screen will have a number. Na? What is a selection screen number? Always 1000. We know that. Similarly, every dialog screen will have a number, screen number. Okay, that number can be any number from 1 to 9999. 1 to 9999. So here, if you want to create the module pool program, I cannot directly use the screen painter tool. Okay, suppose here I'll say Z, I'll give the program name as something Z830 mod 1, something. I'm giving some program name. I'll give the screen number as 100. So what is the program name I give? I'm in which tool now? Screen Painter tool. What is the T code? SC51. So I gave the program name and I gave the screen number as 100. I can give any number between 1 to 9999. When I try to create, it will not allow me to create directly here. What is the message I got as the status bar? Program Z830 mod 1 does not exist. So I cannot directly create from Screen Painter tool. We have to create this module pool program from Object Navigator from SC80. Understood? Already we have seen Object Navigator for creating the function groups. Na? For creating the function group. Okay. Similarly, let me go to SC80 Object Navigator. Observe here. I'll go to SC80. I'm trying to create the module pool program. So I'll go to SC80. Yeah. Okay, so here in the drop down we have to choose what? Program. If you want to create a module program, come to Object Navigator, choose program, and here we have to give the program name. I'll give the program name as something. Since it is a custom program, I'll start with the Z. I'll give the program name as Z830 mod 1. You can give any name. Okay, so one point you have to remember here, I can create a module program. I can create a module program with the top include program or without a top include program. I repeat once again, we can create a module program with the top include program or without a top include program. It is always better we create the module program with the top include. We can use the top include program for declaring global variables, for defining subroutine and module definitions. And the components of the top include program can be used by any screens of your module pull program. So it is always recommended to create the module pull program with what? Top include program. It is always recommended to create the module pull program with the top include program. So what you have to do here, from the drop down, you have to choose program and provide the program name. So I gave it as Z830 mod 1. I'll press enter. Okay, so when I press enter, see what happens. I'm pressing enter here. It is saying that the program so and so does not exist. Create the object, yes. Okay, let us create this particular module program. So when I say S here, yeah, it is asking whether you want to create this module program with the top include. It is always recommended to create the module program with the top include. So I'll select the checkbox what? Create with the top include. I'll select the checkbox, create with the top include, continue. Already we have seen top include somewhere where when we have created the function group, two include programs gets created. One include ending with the top, another include ending with U XX. Okay. Similar here also, I'll try to create the module program with the top include, continue. Yeah. And the name of the top include program should always end with the top. Since it is a custom include, let us start with the Z, end with the top. In between, you can give any name. So I'll give the name as something Z830 mod 1 top. Am I clear? You can give any name, but start with the Z, end with top. So I gave it as Z830 mod 1 top. Continue. Yeah, you can see this is a title. So I'll just give some title here like text fields, push buttons, and PI event. Some title I'll give. Okay. What is the type of program? Module pool. So far, what are the things we have seen? Executable program, include program, function group, and what? Subroutine pool. So now I'll choose the type of program as module pool. Choose the type of program as module pool, save it. I'll click on the save button. Yeah, it is asking for the package. I'll save it in what? Local objects. Done. So my module pool program is created. My module pool program is created with what? Top include program. Yeah, it is created with the top include program. If I double click on this, my top include program as of now it is blank. Okay, I don't have anything inside the top include, is blank. So what is the agenda here? As part of this module pool program, I have to create one screen. Okay, so how do you create the screen here? You have to use screen painter tool. Means you have to launch what? SC51. So for that, right click on the program, create screen. Right click on the program, create what? Screen. So when I say right click on the program, create screen, it is asking the screen number. Screen number can be any number between 1 to 9999. I'll give the screen number as something 100. You can give any number. I gave it as 100. So when I continue, it will launch what? Screen painter tool. It has launched what? Screen painter tool. In the attributes tab, it is asking the short description. I'll just give the description as demo for text fields, okay, and a push buttons and a PA event. Some description, meaningful description. And in the attributes tab only, you can see it. It is asking the screen type. What type of screen you want to create? Normal screen, subscreen, or what? Model dialog box. I'll go for what? Normal screen. As of now, by using screen painter tool, we can design three types of screens. I'm going for normal screen. In the attributes tab, just you have to provide the description and choose the type of the screen. Then you have to design that screen. So on the application toolbar, we have the button layout. Click on the layout button. On the application toolbar, click on the layout button. Yeah, it has opened the layout. So on this layout, we have to design what? Some static text and 2 push buttons. Am I clear? So how to do it? Left hand side you can see here I'm having the toolbox which has got different controls like text field, what is this? IO field, checkbox, radio buttons, push buttons, what is this? Tab strip control with a wizard, box, subscreen area, like that we have different types of controls. What is my requirement now? I want some text now. So you can see on my toolbox we have a control called as text field. You have to place it on the screen. How do you place it on the layout? Click and draw. Okay, on the toolbox, click on this and draw wherever you want. I'll draw it here. Hold the space bar and draw it. Okay, so click and draw, not drag and drop, click and draw. So I've drawn the text field here. For every element on the screen, we should have some name. So you have to set the properties. How do I set? If I double click on this element, it will open with a property window. You can see here right hand side has opened the property window. Am I clear? So it is asked what is the type of element here? Text field. Right? It is asking the 1 second, please. Just hold on. Just hold on, please. Yeah. So this is my what? Text field. I'll give the name of the text field as T1. What is the name I give? T1. Name of the text field is T1. I'll give the text. Okay, let me give the text as something. What? Any name you can give. I'll give the text as something. Welcome to Gens of Technologies. Some text. So what I did here, I created a text element. The name I gave it as T1. Okay, and text I gave it as something. Welcome to Gens of Technologies. So two properties I gave, name and text. Then I want push buttons. No? So I can see here on the toolbox we have the push button. I'll click and draw. I'll draw the push button. Right. If I double click on this, I'll get the property window. Property window for the push button. I'll give the name of the push button as, you can give any name. I'll give it as B1. Text I'll give it as something exit. Text I'm giving it as exit. So after giving the name and text also, the color of this button is not changed. So there is another important property, FCT code. How do we assign the function code for the push buttons? User command. Selection screen we use user command. So here it is asking the FCT code. I'll give the FCT code as FC1. What is this FCT code? FC1. You can give any name. So I'll press enter. So I gave three properties for the button. What are they? Name, text, and FCT code. Let me take another button. I'll take another button. Click on the toolbox. Draw it here. Done. I'll give the name as something B2. Text I'll get as something say hello. I'll give the function code as FC2. Function code as FC2. Okay, name I gave, text I gave, and FCT code I got, function code is FCT. So for this text field, the two important properties are name and text. Understood? For the text field, right? For the text field, the two important properties are name and text. For the push button, the important properties are what? Name, text, and what? FCT code. So let me save it. It's taking some time. Okay, check for the syntax error. Okay, go back. Unable to transfer data end program. No. I saved it. What happened? got stuck. Let me re-log in. Yeah, let me go to that program. I'll go to SC80 Z830 mod 1. So as of now, only top include program is created. Let me create the screen. Right click on the program, create what? Screen. Right. I'll give the screen number as something 100. It has opened the screen painter tool. In the attributes tab, let us give the short description. Some short description I'll give. Something screen 100. Text fields and push button, some text. Okay, what is the screen type here? Normal. I'll go to layout. Let us design the layout of the screen. So if I click on the layout button, yeah, I'll take the text field, I'll draw it here. Click and draw. I'll double click on this. I'll get the property window. I'll give the name of the text field as T1. Text, I'll give it as something, welcome to Gensoft Technologies. Welcome to Gensoft Technologies. Done. Okay, welcome to Gensoft Technologies. Done. Save it as of now. Then I'll take two push buttons. Click and draw. For this first push button, I'll give the name as B1. Text, I'll give it as exit. Function code, I'll give it as FC1. Then for the second push button, I'll give the name as B2. Text, I'll give it as something, say hello, some text. Function code, let us give it as FC2. Okay, so two push buttons we have designed, one text field. This is text field. I gave the name as Steven. These are push buttons with function codes as FC1 and FC2. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. If you want to activate, you can activate. Otherwise, we can activate later on. So first save it and check for the syntax. No others. Go back. Okay. So what are the things we have seen in the screen painter tool? Attributes tab. In the attributes tab, just you have to give some description and you have to choose a screen type. What is the screen type by default? Normal. Then I went to the layout. I have designed the layout of the screen with the three elements, one text field and two push buttons. For each of these elements, I gave some names. Done. Now, what is the next requirement? We have to write the logic for that push button. So whenever I click on the push button, I have to come out of the program. Whenever I click on that button, say hello button, I have to give some message in the information dialog box. So if it is a selection screen, what is the event we'll handle at selection screen? Where do we handle that event? At the end of the program. Okay, here in the screen painter tool only, if you go to element list here, actually we don't use much of this element list, but for your information, if I go to element list, it will show the information of the screen elements that you have placed on the layout. So if I go to element list here, we have placed three elements now. One is the text field and two push buttons. At which line, which position, what is the height, width, all those information will be available in this element list, and you not bother about that. Let me directly go to flow logic. So flow logic is a place where we handle that event. Understood? So in dialog screen, whenever I click on the push button, what is the event triggered? PAI, process after input. In a normal reporting, how do we handle the events at the end of the program? At the end of the program, we'll handle. Here in the flow logic section, if you go to flow logic, by default, it will show two events, PBO and PAI. This PAI event is similar to at selection screen event. So we have to handle which event? PAI. How do you write the logic for that event? In dialog screen, in module pool, the logic for the events should be implemented inside the module definitions. Am I clear? In module pool, the logic for the events should be defined inside the module definition. So what I have to do here? In this PAI event, understood? There is one module provided by SAP. This module is similar to subroutine. How to call a subroutine? Perform. Na? Similarly, module is called by using module statement. So this is a module proposed by SAP. If you want, you can define this module or you can create your own module. Anyhow, going forward, we'll see how to create our own module. Here I'll uncomment this. It is commented by default. I'll uncomment. What is the module name given by SAP? User underscore command followed by the screen number. If you want, you can change this module name. Otherwise, you can ignore it. You can keep it as it is. So we need to write the logic for the events as part of this module definitions. How to define a subroutine, form, end form? No? How to define a function model, function, end function. Similarly here also, I'll double click on this module name. I'll double click on the module name to define the logic for this model, to define to implement this particular event. So I'll double click on this module name. You can double click anywhere on the module name. I'll double click. Yeah, it is saying that PAI module does not exist. Am I clear? PAI module does not exist. Create the object. Yes. Am I clear? So I'll create the object here. It is asking where you want to define that module. Whether you want to define that in a new include program, or whether you want to define in the main program, or whether you want to define that in the top include program. So initially, I created the module pull program with the top include. Na? So inside this top include program, I'll define that particular module definition. So what I did here so far, I designed the screen with this layout. What are the function codes I gave for these buttons? FC1 and what? FC2. I have to handle the events for this button. So in module pull, what is the event triggered when you click on the buttons? PAI, process after input. So in the flow logic section, I'll uncomment the PAI module, double click on the module name. It is saying that PAI module does not exist. Create the object, yes. Where you want to define this module? Let me define this module inside the top include program which we created along with the module pull program. So I'll choose what? Top include program. We can use this top include program for declaring what? Global variables, for defining subroutine and what? Module definitions. For defining subroutine and module definitions. Okay. So I'll choose the stop include program, continue. Program, the screen has been changed. Do you want to save? Yes. You can see here in the top include program, it is defining this module. How to define a subroutine, form, end form, function model, function, end function. Similarly here, module, end module. This module is ending with input. Na? So you have to understand that is a PAI module. So what is the logic? When you click on the button, the function code is captured in SciUCOM. Na? So case SciUCOM. Okay, when what? FC1. When FC1, I'll say what? Leave program. Function codes are always captured in what? Uppercase. When FC2, I want to give some message. Okay, so welcome to dialog programming. Some message I'll give. Welcome to dialog programming. Type what? Information message. End for case is what? End case. So this is my event logic, which I have to define it in the PAI module. Done. So I'm done with my module definition. Save your top include program. Check the top include program. Activate your top include program. My top include program is active. Go back. We need to activate your flow logic. Flow logic is a place where we handle the event. So I've handled which event? PA event. Where to write the logic for these events? Inside the module definition. So it is inactive here. Let me activate. Done. So we have designed the screen layout. We have added what? PI event. Okay. So this module programs can be executed only through T codes. So it is compulsory. We have to create the T code. As of now, I have not created any T code. Let me right click on the program and activate the program. Yeah, program is getting activated. Yeah, so this is my module program, which contains one screen 100, one top include program, one PI event module. Right? How do I execute the program? I can test the program directly here. Right click on the program, execute what? Direct processing. Actually, we have to create the T code. As of now, not created the T code. Let's see what happens. I'll right click on the program. Let me activate first. Yes, already activated. Right click on the program, execute direct processing. Yeah, I'm getting a message. Please choose an executable object. So it is mandatory to create T codes for what? Module programs. How do you create the T codes? Already we know, we have seen how to create the T code for report programs, how to create the T code for table maintenance. SC93 is a T code. Na? So here also I can go to SC93 and create the T code. Instead of we going to SC93, I can right click on the program, create what? Transaction. It will directly open me what? SC93. Am I clear? So I'll right click on the program, create transaction. Yes, it is asking the transaction code. I'll give the transaction code as something ZM1. Some name I'll give ZM1. Provide the short text. I'll say something T code for Z830 mod 1. Some meaningful what? Short text. So what is the T code name? ZM1. We are trying to create the T code for a dialog programming. So you have to choose the radio button, program and screen. If you are creating the T code for a report program, we used to choose what? Program and selection screen. If you are creating the T code for a method, we used to choose what? Method of a class. Sorry. If you are creating the T code for a table maintenance, we used to choose what? Transaction with parameters. Now I'm creating the T code for module pull program. So you have to choose the radio button, program and screen. Program and screen. So what is the T code name? ZM1. Continue. Yeah, it has opened me that SC93. For which program you want to create? Z830 mod 1. This program has got only one screen at this stage. Na? What is that screen? Screen 100. So if you browse this, it is showing that screen 100. And as usual, you have to select the checkbox SAP GA for HTML, SAP for GA for Java, SAP GA for Windows. Save your transaction code. So T code is also a separate object. It is also asking for a package. Let us save it in local object. Done. So the T code is created ZM1. So let me activate the program. Right click on the program, activate the program. So program is activated. Now in the command field, I can run the T code ZM1 or I can directly execute here. Understood? So if I right click on the program, execute direct processing. Since we have the T code now, yeah, you can see I got the dialog programming. So you can see here, we have created our own screen. So you can see here, I don't have back button. We have to enable this back button. How to enable, we'll discuss that in the tomorrow's session, right? So as of now, whenever we design our custom screen, SAP loses the functionality of what? Some of the standard toolbar buttons. We need to enable them by defining our own GUI status. Okay, so we'll discuss that part tomorrow. This is a static text. If I click on this button, what is the event triggered? PAI. If it is a selection screen, the event triggered is at selection screen. Now it is module pull dialog screen. The event triggered is PI. If I click on this, yes, I got the message. Welcome to dialog programming. I'll click on this button. What is the logic error? Leave program. Yes, we are able to leave the program. Understood. So I can run the program and directly run the T code in the command field. What is the T code? ZM1. So I got that working fine. So what is that I have done? I created what? A dialog program. I went to SC80. Understood. I created the module pull program. We have chosen what? Program, and we gave the program name. We created this program along with what? Top include program. Whenever you're trying to create the program, it will ask you, do you want to create top include program? Better we always create with top include program. So top include program always ends with what? Top. Since it is a custom include, you have to start with Z or Y. In between, you can propose any name. We can use this top include program for declaring global variables, for defining subroutine and module definitions. Initially, it was blank. Then what I did, I right clicked on the program. I created what? A screen. It has launched what? Screen painter tool, SC51. I proposed what? Screen number as what? 100. In the attributes tab, you have to give the some description and choose a screen type as normal. Go to layout, design this particular layout with appropriate elements. How to draw these elements? Click and draw. On the left hand side, we have the toolbox. Click and draw. For this text field, I give two important properties, name and text. For push buttons, I give three important properties, name, text, and FCT code. So after designing of the layout is completed, we have to handle the events. Where do we handle the events? In the flow logic section. So I came to flow logic section. What is the event triggered when you click on the button on the dialog screen? PA event. So in the PA event, I have uncommented the module given by SAP. I double clicked on the module. I implemented the appropriate logic. Then we understood that after activating the program, when I tried to execute, it was giving an error. Please choose an executable object. So we understood that it is mandatory to create what? Transaction code for module pull script. So you have to go to SC93 and create. Otherwise, right click on the program and create the transaction. It will launch what? SC93. So I created this particular T code. I gave the name as what ZM1. I gave the program name and the screen number. Selected the checkbox. Then we have tested our program. So this is the development process for dialog programming. Any questions? And whenever we design the custom screens, by default, you will not have the back button on the standard toolbar. So how to enable, we'll discuss that in the coming sessions. As of now, we understood how to work with the screen painter tool, how to design the screen layout with the different elements, how to place the elements, click and draw, double click on that element, it opens a property window, set the appropriate properties. For the text field, I set two properties, name and text. For buttons, I set three properties, name, text, and FCT code. And whenever we click on these buttons, what is the event triggered? PA. So as part of flow logic, under PA event, I uncommented the module. I defined this module in the top include program. And I created the T code for the program. Yes, any questions, please ask. Okay, so today is the initial session. Most of them are absent and we are very new to dialog programming. I'll stop it today. Okay, practices. Okay, in smart farms also I observed most of the people are not practiced. Okay, you have sent me the queries after 5-6 sessions of smart farm. So don't do that mistake here. Practice from day one. Practice is example. I'll try to share the recording in next 2-3 hours. And this example also. Try to practice so that it will be easy for you for the rest of the topics. Based on module pool, next topic is dependent, that is BDC. So once we are done with module pool BDC, we'll see reports and some miscellaneous concepts in dictionary objects. So another 3 weeks at least we require to complete of this Core Abap concept. Another 3 weeks at least to complete of the rest of the Core Abap topics. And cross applications, I don't know whether our team has sent the mail or not. Okay, we are going to start very soon, morning 6 o'clock. Okay, so those are interested, you can attend. The date is not confirmed. It will be either from tomorrow or from day after tomorrow. I have to confirm them. So I need to check my schedule and I'll start it. So cross applications, you can start attending if I start from in 1 or 2 days. Again, next cross application will be only after few months. Okay, so that's the reason. If you are interested, you start attending cross applications in the upcoming batch, right? So I'm done for today's session. Any queries, please ask. Done. Sure, then. So practice this part. We'll continue tomorrow. And today I started late because this is the first session of module pool and many people are not aware. Already we are informed on Friday itself. We have sent the WhatsApp message also, and I have sent the mail also personally yesterday. But still the strength is less. But tomorrow we'll try to start between 8:30 to 8:40. Okay. Chalo then. So thank you everyone. We'll continue tomorrow.